Hey gardeners, Amy here from Garden Up. It is fall, it's the first week of October. We have finally gotten all of our plants planted, which means hopefully I now have a little bit of time to plant my own stuff. So throughout this year, whenever I saw a plant I hadn't grown before, I tend to always do this. I'll buy one for myself because I have to test it for myself before I use it in a client's yard, right? Of course I do. I love my business. But I haven't had time to plant all year. We have been so busy. So all of my new plants have just been sitting over here, me having to remember to water them every day and all this other nonsense. Hopefully I now have enough time, now that everything else is pretty much done for the year, to actually get them into the ground. I'll probably be filming this sporadically over the next several days, so if it looks disjointed or anything, that's why. Just as I have time, I'll plant something and etc. But what I wanted to do was I would showcase each one and kind of tell you about what it is and where I'm going to plant it in my yard, and and then I'll maybe do some follow-up garden tours later on to show you how these things are growing. I'm also really excited about this other new development. We had a sod cutter that we rented for several clients last week, and so while we had it rented, since we already had it, I took it out for one more day and went ahead and did a bunch of sod cutting in my own yard. So I've widened my own gardens, thank goodness, because these little 2-foot wide perimeter beds were really driving me crazy. They're so skinny, you can't do anything with it. But it's what came with my house, so I've just dealt with it. But now I'm going to have flower beds worth having, and I'm so excited. Yay! So that's a new development as well, and most of these plants will go in there, which is good because I honestly had no idea where I was going to put any of these when I bought them, because, that's the mark of a true gardener, right? Anyway, so let's get started with identifying some plants. So the first thing I'm going to put in is the stuff that needs to be covered or otherwise protected for the winter, because I really want to get this in soon so that I can cover it. This is called a crocosmia. I've done a video on the care of these already and how the corms grow differently. That's the root structure, kind of grows on top of itself, and so it can tend to climb out of the soil and kind of commit suicide if it's not in a soil that it likes. So, and a lot of these are not hardy to here. They don't do well, but I have seen some that get absolutely gigantic. And so I want to try a few again in my own yard to kind of see if I can unlock the secret to what makes these grow well or what makes them just die because they don't like their spot. The only crocosmia that I've seen come back in our area is Crocosmia lucifer. It's the only one that's hardy to a zone 5. The others are like 6, 7, etc. and up, and so you might as well just not buy them. Don't waste your money if you're in Spokane. This one is Crocosmia pink carmi, which is supposed to be hardy to a zone 5. At least that's what I think it says on this tag. It's kind of smeared. Its blooms are all spent now, but it has these gorgeous bright orange flowers. Lucifer has bright orangey red, and then it comes in all kinds of reds. It's really pretty, and hummingbirds absolutely love it, butterflies love it, and so it's a plant that I really do want, and I want it to do well. So I'm going to get this in the ground, and I'm going to cover it for the winter with pine needles, so it gets a good start, and yeah, we'll see what happens to it in the spring. Crocosmia pink carmine has coral flowers from midsummer to fall. It prefers full sun and well-drained soil. Hummingbirds love it, so do butterflies and bees. It gets about 24 inches high and just as wide, and it is zone 6, so it should theoretically be fine in our climate, but I am still going to cover it well with pine needles just to be safe. Things are rooted into the sidewalk because they have been here for so long. Okay, this one, the blooms are also spent. You can see the leftovers of one of the flowers right here. This is a new hybrid, at least new to me. I've never seen it before this year. It's a cross between Echinacea and Rudbeckia, which I've always wondered. They're in the same family. They look a lot alike. What would happen if you crossed them? This is what happens if you cross them. It's called Echinacea, sun chaser Echinacea. Now, in the nursery, this was sold like a perennial. It looks like a perennial. It's in a big 1-gallon pot like perennials are usually in, but it is labeled zone 7. Not a perennial here unless you're really clever about how you plant it. So I have gotten zone 7 plants to come back, and here's how I do it. One, I plant it in a place that's very warm. It has a warm microclimate, like right next to the foundation of your house where your basement is heated, right? And some heat escapes from the basement. It'll warm the ground right in that area. Or you can plant it next to a rock and use some thermo and energy type of a situation where the rock will absorb some heat and it'll release it onto the plant. But the point is that in the winter, it can't get below that or the plant will die. The other thing you do is just mound it high with pine needles. Just cover the heck out of it, give it such a big thick blanket that the cold just can't even get in there, and then the plant will stay warm and it will probably come back. But so that's what I'm going to do with this Echinacea. I'm going to plant it close to the house in a place where it'll hopefully stay warm. It'll probably be kind of hidden behind all of my other plants, but you know, I'll still have it, and it's an experiment. That's the whole point, is to experiment and try new things. So I'm going to plant this right next to the house and bury it in pine needles and see if I can get it to come back. Okay. Sun Chaser Echinacea is a hybrid between Echinacea and Rudbeckia. It prefers full sun. It gets about 22 to 26 inches high and 16 to 20 inches wide. It's zone 7, which means the coldest it can tolerate is 0 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Any colder than that and it will die. So make sure to mulch it really well in the winter with pine needles and whatever else you'd like. But it is also drought tolerant because Echinacea and Rudbeckia are both also drought tolerant. So of course their hybrid child would be as well. This is Sedum Autumn Joy. 4-inch pots are hard to find for this plant, and I found them in the spring for $4 a pot, and so I couldn't help myself. I bought a whole flat, managed to find homes for all but 2. Honestly, didn't try too hard at the end either, but anyway, so these are going to go right here in my xeriscape bed, kind of in the back, and I'm going to take this silly plastic out because without the lawn here, there's just no reason for it. This that I just put in is Delasperma Lavender Ice. Really excited to see that bloom. And now I'm going to put in a whole bunch of new Sempervivums that I picked up this summer. Have not had a chance to plant these yet, so I'm just going to put them kind of all over the place. Most of these plants I bought at Desert Jewels Nursery, which is on East Upriver Drive. Some of these came from other places, but most of them came from there. So what I have to plant first, I've got some sedum. This is a really cool variety of sedum. I don't remember the specific. She wrote it down for me, but the tags weren't off. Anyway, so that's one I don't have yet. I've got some Louisia, which I don't know anything about aside from that it has some really cool flowers. So I'm really excited for this. Got Prairie Smoke, which has a really cool flower, late spring I believe. And this is a type of heuchera that is our native variety. It's supposed to be completely drought adapted, and I don't know, I'll find out. I'll see what it does in the spring. And this one I'm super excited about. This is a Rudbeckia called Cherry Brandy, and it has the most gorgeous red flowers. I tried to get them in the ground before the flowers were spent. Obviously I didn't make it. But anyway, I have some pictures, and I'll definitely post an after video when I know how this stuff's going. So I'm going to start with that. I've got more stuff I'm going to put in when I'm done with this. have a client that had black irises, and I'm so excited because she shared them with me. It was time to divide them, and so she gave me a whole bunch. And now I just have to divide these rhizomes. These may not bloom next year because with the kind of stress of division, sometimes irises take a year or two to recover from that enough to bloom, but they will bloom again and they will be absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited for black iris. This will be excellent. So I'm going to put these in a few places in my yard, I think. This corner, I did just do the little triangle here. Probably do the other corner. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I might have a few extras to share as well. What I'm checking for mostly is that the rhizomes are healthy and not too crowded. So this is an individual, it's perfect. We've got root, rhizome, and shoot on all of these. This has several new buds that are going to come up next year. Remember with irises to not plant too deep. They really don't want a lot of soil on top of their rhizomes, and honestly they're perfectly happy with the rhizomes being exposed. So you just kind of dig a hole about 2 inches, set it in there, and then when we're done we sprinkle the soil back over top. Now this is a big cluster, so I'm going to have to break this up because it's already really compact. So for the long-term health of the plant, I'm going to take this apart. I don't see a shoot. I see roots and rhizomes, but I don't see a shoot worth keeping. This is a cute little bulblet here, but I don't know if those will turn into anything. So I'm going to save the space in my garden for what I know is going to grow, just because space is kind of limited.